welcome to Akron Buzz. I'm not Dan Mosier, but I am sitting in for him. I thought it would be interesting to turn the tables on the host of the show, the creator of the show, the founder of the show. So our guest this evening is Dan Mosier.
Well, thanks for having me on the program.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. I think our audience would like to know a little bit about you, but we'll get to that. Where did Akron Buzz come from, and why is it important to you?
It's very important to me, mostly so that when we have an intern who's interning at Mosier Media, they have something that they can take away for their demo reel. Years ago, Mosier Media had an intern program, and if we were busy, the interns would be able to shadow shoots, go over to where we're shooting TV commercials or where we're shooting corporate videos, and they could be a part of a big shoot, which is typically the most exciting thing in video production. But if we were slow, or if the production schedule was all post-production and editing work, we'd have interns shadowing the edit, which is extremely boring. So we created Akron Buzz so that students who intern at Mosier Media can contribute something to the community, produce videos, perhaps for civic organizations or nonprofits, go out and tell a story, have something for their demo reel, and Mosier Media has the world's greatest intern program.
Okay, but in the same sense, you are providing a service to this community because there is no television news,
Sure.
and you are doing this.
Oh, there's no doubt I get to satisfy that as well. I love local television. I certainly, Akron being my hometown, born and raised and grew up here, and I like the idea of having local television here. So putting it all together with our camera gear that Mosier Media can donate, the studio we already have, and student interns very eager to produce really great video, giving Akron a TV program through this program is a wonderful idea and something I'm glad we're a part of.
Okay, so tell us about you. You grew up in Akron.
Sure.
You're a hometown boy. We're in a studio that is literally within spitting distance of the house you grew up in, correct?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so who is Dan Mosier?
Well, my story, very similar to folks that are in broadcasting or in video production. Very early in life, you discover that you love being behind the camera, or you enjoy the process, you enjoy radio, you enjoy TV, and those who are lucky to discover that early and then be able to stay in the business, that's my story. In high school, I did the high school TV show, very lucky, and I wish more high schools had a mass media program, because if you can discover the love for the business as a young person and carry it through, you go into college knowing what you want to do, that sort of thing. And that's my story, very similar to a lot of folks in the business.
Where'd you go to high school?
Good old Stowe High School.
Okay.
And there was a media program, and I was able to participate and do that, and then led through a job in television at a low power station in Kent, and then was lucky enough to get into Goodyear and start doing corporate video maybe in the early 90s, just out of high school, and the business took off from there.
You are at a very critical juncture in terms of communication. When I was growing up, for example, there was just television. There were 3 stations, 3, 5, and 8, in Northeast Ohio. But now there are so many different ways that people get their information other than just news from the television. Sure. So how do you see yourself and Akron Buzz and your company fitting into the changing dynamics of news?
I would say we give the content to the viewer wherever it is that they want to see it. If they want me to storyboard it out and write it out and deliver it to them on a piece of paper, then that's what we're going to do. The idea is, if we can be on television, but also on YouTube, but also, and then of course when you're on YouTube, or is it a web video, and how is that formatted so that it works on the desktop and on the phone? And then how do you then modify the content so that if somebody's watching like this instead of like this on a TV, that the content is short and sweet, and the message and the stories, it better be short and sweet because you're watching it on a phone. Mm-hmm. So basically to cut the message down and deliver it in the way that the viewer wants to see it. So I might want to do a whole half-hour show on television, but nobody's going to watch a whole half hour on YouTube on their mobile phone while they're sitting at the airport. So you got to do that segment in 30 seconds. So the idea is, how can we create this content and do everything? And it's no longer a 30-minute nightly news show, perhaps. It's 2 minutes. So
who would be your ideal guest for your Akron Buzz show?
I would love to see Mayor Don Pasquella come on. Perhaps he's a little irritated with the media at times. I would give him the softball questions. I think he's done a great job. I'm a fan, and I'd let him come on and tell us whatever he wants. I'd let him lead the whole. I'd have a great time with him, but I'm a little more I'm less news, more entertaining. I'm not a news person.
Well, yeah, but you'd ask him one question, and there's your whole show.
There's the whole show. There's no doubt, and that's why it would be very little prep work. Just one question would do it. I would love to talk to LeBron James. No one is a huge
Locally,
fan again.
yeah.
Locally, no one has done more for the Akron community than he has. And so there's that. Certainly, there's a lot of civic leaders and community leaders and business leaders that I would love to let come on and tell their story. And if you're doing something great for Akron, I want to share your story.
How do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can reach out to us, akron@akronbuzz.com. We're all over on Facebook and on YouTube. They can even call the office here at Mosier Media. So,
You love what you do, don't you, Dan?
I do. I'm having a blast.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah.
What's ahead for you in the future?
I would love to, quite honestly, I would love to just own a TV station. I would love to buy a TV station. Akron has 3 TV stations. There's actually a signal in Akron that's dead that if the FCC would allow somebody to buy a transmitter and turn it on, we could do it. There could be.
Okay, so could you put together a consortium and do this same kind of thing?
You could. It would just take a lot of money. And the other thing I would love to do, certainly there's a bazillion things I'd love to do with the video production business, but since we're talking local TV, what I would love to do is see Akron Canton become its own television market. If you took the old Channel 67, now Digital 47, and you took TV 23 and TV 29 and made an argument to the FCC that Akron is its own television market, and we could get the national media buy, you get the Northeast Ohio dealers of the association of this to not skip Akron and just say, well, we already covered Akron because we bought Cleveland stations and we're done, then you could have a viable TV broadcast in Akron.
Why is it important for Akron, Canton, and our area? Why is it important to have a local TV broadcast?
Because we are not Cleveland. And and I hate to see that when it bleeds, it leads, and all that, the murders they show on the news. But we want to show our own murders, and we want to show Cleveland's murders. They got a lot of them. They're great. It's fun. They have all kinds of time shooting each other up. But we want to show Akron's news. And it's terrible. That's probably not funny at all. And the news, and if it bleeds, it leads, and all that. If it's on fire and burning, when you see the Channel 19 trucks coming down to Akron, something horrible has happened. They're not running down here to show the good people for good news. Yeah. So what we need, murders and fires and all that horrible news aside, there's a lot of good news happening here, and we need to be able to show that in Akron and Canton.
Dan Mosier, thank you for showing that to Akron and Canton through Akron Buzz.
Well, we're trying to make a start of it here. We'll see what we can do.
We appreciate it, obviously. Sure. And thank you for joining us on Akron Buzz.